hello, hello, hello. How is everybody? So glad to be here today with you. Uh, my name, trying to get this thing to go. Okay, it's going. My name is Leslie Montgomery, and you are tuned in to LKM Kingdom Living, Leslie's Lessons Learned. And as we do every week, first, we want to thank you for being here, taking time out of your busy schedule to see what we have to say with the wonderful Minister Wanda Floyd. I should say Wanda L. Floyd today. So we're just glad to be here. We uh, come every week because of Yahweh, and we want you to know how much He loves you, how much He wants your life to change, and how much He wants us to be better than we have been. You know, we go years and years and years living the same old way, but I'm gonna get to that in a minute. But I want to pull up my mirror for a moment and look in it, and I want to say thank you. Thank you, Yahweh, because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Thank you that you have created me to be what you've called me to be and to do what you've called me to do. If you're looking in the mirror and you're saying, is life worth living? You're trying to ponder it or understand it. I want you to know then, yes, life is still worth living. And you have work to do. I was listening to Angela Bassett the other day just by accident, and in her speech she was saying, "What did she say? We are not made of history." She said, "We are made by history." I want you to know that we are made by His story, and that the kingdom needs you. And that if you're alive today, you're still here because you have a purpose and a destiny, something you still have to do, and life is good, too good to waste. Stop wasting our, not just for us to stop wasting the time sitting around and just wondering and pondering, look at old things, look at things that are used to be, because if it was yesterday, it used to be. If you're living in yesterday. And one of the things when he was speaking to me, he says, don't spend your life with regrets. Life is too important for that. A life of regret means you're living in the past. Live for today, not yesterday. The Father has things for you to accomplish that causes you to come out of the past and live in the future. So get out of your mind, get out of your head, and get into my presence. It's your presence that is needed. He needs you to be in a place where He can talk to you, He can minister to you, and He can help you through the process. A lot of times, Minister Wanda, when we get in those places, we kind of have an attitude. And because we have an attitude, we really don't want to go to Him. We
Mhm.
want to pout. We want to stay right where we are. And I want to say that you might have your moment, but at some point you got to come out that moment. And I'm not talking about years down the road. I'm talking about you have to make an immediate decision that I don't want to be here, that there is better for me, because there is. When we think about what was, a lot of times we think about it as this we can't get out of it. But He always has a way of escape. And the only thing He asks us to do is to come and to sit at His feet, learn of Him, get to know Him, have a relationship with Him, get into covenant with Him, and allow Him to show you that life is beautiful. So, as we say every Sunday, I want to say it today, and I want us to say it. I
Yeah.
want you to really feel this thing, and I want you to say, "A life without me is like a world without color." It is so important that you understand how vitally you important you are to the kingdom, not just to us, but to the kingdom. and you was created for such a time as this because of the kingdom. So, Minister Wanda, how are you today, beautiful? So happy you're here. And, I appreciate the fact that you come on. I appreciate the fact that from the time that Yahweh had assigned you to the, the appointment, you have been faithful. I want to say thank you for that. I appreciate it. So tell us a little bit about you.
Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. Depending on where you are, um, I just want to greet you and say I'm glad you're here. You are special, you are needed, and we need you to be here, and we so appreciate you. My name is Wanda L. Floyd. I am the owner of WLF Academy and the Brains and Beauty Business Academy. I'm a licensed hair care professional, been licensed for 30 years now. I am a trainer. I am a cosmetology barber, instructor. I do some things in ministry, and I have a purpose. And I show up every day because I have a purpose to fulfill. And I'm just happy to be here with you, Miss Leslie.
She curls a little bit of hair, y'all.
Just
She curls
curly.
a little bit of hair. But the WLF is Wanda L. Floyd. I think that's such a powerful name. I think it is. And when I hear it, and I picture it on a magazine, Wanda L. Floyd, and I see your picture up there. And when you take pictures, your pictures have such a defined, unique look about them.
Thank you.
And it sets a precedence. And I just love that. When I look at, I'm like, this girl is bad. I want y'all to know that she is um, a bad young lady, that she loves Yahweh. And not only does she love Yahweh, she loves teaching the word. And I just love the fact that she is faithful, she is committed, and that she loves him just enough. Not, I don't even know if that's the correct word. She loves him enough to allow him to do what he needs to do in her life. And I want to talk about that for a minute because you mentioned that you're here for a purpose. You mentioned that your purpose, every day you get up because you have a purpose. And when we think about that, every day we get up, if we get up because we have a purpose, it causes us to get up with a different attitude. If we just get up because we get up, then it's just a Monday day and we're just doing what we normally do. But when you get up with a purpose and understand that you have purpose,
Hmm.
you get up with Yahweh on your mind, wanting to know what He wants you to do for that day. A lot of times, a
Hmm.
lot of times what happens is we don't understand that yesterday was yesterday and today is a new day. That means that he framed us a whole new day. And when we come out of living in the yesterday and live for today, there's a lot of treasures and valuable things in it that we never obtain because we never come from the day before. We live each day as though it's yesterday.
Hmm.
Why do I say that? Because we live in the past. What happened? What didn't happen?
It can be crippling. It can be crippling. And getting up each day on purpose is a learned behavior. It's not easy to do every day. Um, so amazing because I was just talking to my best friend yesterday via um, DM on Instagram. And she began to, how the conversation began, she began to talk about politics and what's going on right now. And I'm not really, and that's what I was telling her, I'm not really a political person. And as we got more into the conversation about the characteristics of this one and characteristics of that one, and what's true about this one and what's not true about that one. And after a while, I just said, you know what? None of any of this, and I'm not going against anyone who has all these political beliefs and you stand behind your policies and all that. That's not what I'm saying. But I told her after a while, I said, you know what? None of this has anything to do with my salvation. And honestly, without all of the stress behind what's going on in the world right now politically, because if you think about it, it can be stressful,
It
right?
is. It
it,
is.
it can be stressful and it can be overwhelming and take a toll on you. And I had noticed just that quick from those few minutes how it suddenly became overwhelming. And I told her, I said, I'm just trying to live every day on purpose. That's enough. Just wanting to be here and fulfill my destiny. And that can be challenging when you're not even really sure what that destiny is. So, making up a mind to get up every day and I'm going to live because, and get up on purpose because I have a destiny and a purpose to fulfill, even if I don't know what that purpose in the earth is. And I have to be honest with you. I know that I was born a teacher. I know that, like you said, I absolutely do love teaching the word. I think I just found that out a couple of years ago. But I absolutely do love to teach. I am teaching right now as an educator in my industry. Love doing that. But there's still that missing part that I just know I'm supposed to be a teacher, right? But how is that really supposed to play out in regards to my purpose in the earth? And those are the things that we don't know. And because you're not absolutely sure, like Alicia knows her purpose, right? And if you're not absolutely sure what that purpose is, I do know that I have to get up on purpose and do what I'm supposed to be doing today. Like today, you asked me, and I'm sure that it's okay to say that you asked me how I feel because, as you can tell, my voice is still not 100%. Um, but I said to you, I'll be there. Why? Because right now, the purpose for today is to be here and share with his people whatever it is that he wants them to know. So you have to make up in your mind that when I wake up, there's a purpose for today. What am I supposed to do today? And do it to your fullest.
Yeah, it's true. I was I, and we're not talking about politics. First, let me say good morning to everybody that has joined us. And I don't like
Good.
saying good morning. I like to say good day because I don't want you to just have a good morning. And then when I did the study on what good morning was, I was like, I really want you to have a good day because the background, the history of that is not what we think it is. But I want you to have a good day. We thank you for being here, Ashley. Thank you, Sister Michelle, Pastor Jackie, Pastor Daphne, whoever else is on. I want to say thank you for being here. Could you take a moment and hit that like sign, share, and subscribe? It would be mean so much that someone else can hear this conversation. I think part of the problem, as you were speaking, is that one thing that we attach to what our purpose is life worth living.
Mm-hmm.
We don't understand what the purpose is. So what the purpose is it makes you sometimes think that because I don't know what my purpose is, and it can stress you out if you're not just leaning on Yahweh.
Yeah.
It could stress you out, and you can be in a place where you're down, you're just existing because you don't know what your purpose is. And one of
Absolutely.
the things that you said, and because we have the beginning, we have the end, and it's the meantime,
Hmm. That middle part.
that middle part. And what you said, I'm a teacher. I know that. But the middle part, where does it connect to the kingdom?
Hmm.
What is my full purpose in that? That's what I hear
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
when not just you, but even myself, and we were talking about the political party and all, and I began to think, and it concerned me. But the part that concerned me, they're doing what they want to do, they're doing their thing. The part that concerned me was that I want to know as a prophet what my position is. I want to know as a prophet, what am I supposed to be hearing? You know, uh,
Hmm.
uh, uh, for years, people would come to me and say, "Can you prophesy to me? Give me a word. You changed my life by the word you gave me. My whole year came out better." I can't just operate like that anymore.
Right. Right. Right.
You know, that's the way that I was brought up
Yeah.
in
We
the church
did
world.
that the wrong way. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So now I'm really intentional about, well, I want to mention this as well. Uh, Darash Kingdom Apostle um, has this course. B.W. Jones has this course called Know
We are.
Your Calling. And in the process, after you take the course, then you have the 102. I call it the 102 course. And that's where you really learn. You
About your
learn how to, in the 101, you learn how to identify who you are. You learn how to read the word and take the word at its word. You learn the different characteristics of the people in the word. But the 102 class teaches you how to operate in what you now learned you are. I always knew I was a prophet, but I thought I had other callings as well. You
Okay.
know, so you
Okay.
know, so I had to learn how to come for full circle. I'm gonna say now I'm learning how to come full circle, and coming full circle has been difficult for me because now I have to shift from the old way to the new way. Now I have to understand in a mature way that there's more to a prophet telling someone how to live their life. I have to learn that my life every day I walk it out as a prophet. What does that entail? Those type of things.
Hmm.
You have to understand, and one of the things that Apostle always teaches us is to filter it through the word.
Absolutely.
So whatever I do, I have to learn, oh, I just can't operate. I got to filter it through the word and make sure I'm lining up with the word.
Right.
And I'm not saying that part right there, that whole shift right there causes you to be in a whole nother place with your walk, because now it's a new thing, it's a new way, and now you have to learn how to operate through the word. And I was thinking about that. It's been like an intentional thing, just really seeking his face and praying, because this political arena, if you can call it an arena, I want to almost, no, I'm gonna leave it like that. I'm not gonna say what I want to call it, but yeah, I get it. I understand. And for those of you that don't know your calling, I want you to begin to operate in the fullness. And what do I mean by that? I want you to shift from being worried about what your purpose is to begin to live. And as you begin to live, as you begin to walk according to the word, it will unfold.
Yeah.
If we think about Moshe, we think about his life. And this is the part that is Interesting. He was told the end to the beginning. And when he got in the meantime, he had to begin to experience what his purpose was. He had to begin to understand, wait a minute now. This is not supposed to go this way. I think this is supposed to go this way. Why this is going this way? Why you got me doing this?
Mhm.
In that meantime. And I think that a lot of times, well, that's where we get stuck. We a lot of times we know, a lot of times we see, he'll
Mhm.
show us something. We could get excited about it. We see the whole picture
Mhm.
of what it's supposed to look like. But it's that meantime that make you say, but I thought it was supposed to be
Looks
this.
like this.
Uh-huh, 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 uh-huh.
Yeah.
So those are go ahead.
Even, even when I think about Moshe and uh, his purpose, or his true purpose, was to be the deliverer, to bring the children of Israel out of Egypt, out of bondage, and
That's right.
deliver them into the promised land, right? But he did not know that from a child. All those years, what did he spend? Um, all those years in Egypt as the prince of Egypt, you know, in rulership over, Pharaoh's things, and, the commands of Pharaoh, and whatever Pharaoh had him doing right next to Pharaoh's son. He thought that that was his purpose and his destiny, until one day he sees a Hebrew being badly mistreated. It's not like he had not seen that before.
Right.
That's the thing. In in his position and who he was at that time, it was not like he hadn't seen anything like that before. But for some reason that day, he just had had enough and handled it. But his anger in handling it, he killed the man. Wasn't expecting that. I'm sure that is not what he thought his destiny was going to be. It was found out, and now he's on the run. And he ends
A
up,
runaway.
right, he's a runaway. And we just went from being the prince of Egypt, in command, with the best, living the best, you know, exposed and have access to, substance and treasures and the best of foods and the best life you could live. And watching the children of Israel be slaves and be in bondage, to now on the run, and ends up in Midian, and ends up being the king of, or the priest, or the prince of Midian, if you want to say, for another 40 years. So 40 years in Egypt, he was trained, and then 40 years in Midian, he was trained. And while in Egypt, he thought, this is my purpose and destiny. Then he gets to Midian, okay, and now I'm over here with Jethro, and I got a beautiful wife, and we're shepherds, and we're
That's
doing
what I was going to say. I'm a shepherd boy. That's my purpose.
now I'm a shepherd, and this is my purpose, until one day he walks upon this burning bush, and his purpose is now changed and shifted. So we have two instances where first he thought Egypt and ruling Egypt was his purpose. Then he goes into Midian, and now I think my purpose is to be a husband and rule with Jethro, and our career are shepherds. That's what we are. We're shepherds by trade. This is my purpose. And Yahweh's like, no, that wasn't what I brought you here for. That wasn't why you were birthed and brought into the earth. You were birthed and brought into the earth for my purpose. Now, my purpose is that I heard the cry of my children, and they're crying out to me, and they need someone to deliver them and bring them out. So you were born, you were brought up, raised, nurtured, cultured, educated in Egypt. So you know all the languages, you know all
Right.
the customs, you know the gods that they served, you know the ins and out of Egypt. Then I took you to Midian so you could learn how to be a shepherd and learn these different things and how to survive in a different type of environment. And now you're ready, you're trained. All of that was for this. And he says, "Oh, who, who, you sending me? The one that was educated, the one that's, we call him bilingual, who spoke many different languages,
13. Yeah.
who, see, 13 languages, who knew hieroglyphics, and he was a mathematician and very well educated, who now says suddenly, well, I don't speak well. You
Mhm.
can't
I
send me,
stutter.
right? And it upset Yahweh. We see his anger already. It upsets Yahweh. And he says, I already got that planned out too. Your brother's going to speak for you.
So let's stop right there before you go any further, because that's a key point right there. Um,
Mhm.
First of all, most times we don't even recognize that we've been trained. We're in training, that this is a part of the process. We don't even recognize that. And I think about how even Moshe, because his father, um, father-in-law was in the priestly, he was learning those things. And in the process of learning those things, when we learn Yahweh, and there's two places you go, you learn him, you start shifting in your mind, your person, you start, your character begins to change because now you're familiar with him. And then you go to a place where you become intimate with him. Moshe came to a place where he became intimate with him. Did Moshe really know who he was?
I think he had heard of the God of Israel because they all
Oh
had
yeah.
heard of him. His fame had gone throughout the land. You know, there there are stories because you know we have the 66 books and then we have those that are removed that talk about those children of
The
Jacob,
wonderful children.
those wonderful children of Jacob, and how they were tearing up lands. They were fighters,
Oh
and
yeah.
they were going in and uh, conquering kingdoms, and
Even when they was in the wilderness, they had to fight.
that's why Pharaoh was concerned about them because their fame had gone out throughout the land. So people might not have known him intimately, but they had heard of the God of Israel, you know. So he had heard of him, but now he's going to be introduced to him personally. Can you imagine hearing about somebody, and then now, boom, I'm being introduced to him. But what's so amazing to
He
me,
introduced himself.
himself to Moshe. He introduced himself to Moshe. But this relationship that Moshe and Yahweh had was amazing. It wasn't one of those relationships where, like he told Aaron and Miriam, I talk to you in dreams and visions. I talk to Moshe mouth to mouth. That's the relationship they had. They talked mouth to mouth. It started with a burning bush, but it excelled from there. And that's why I love when we look at Moshe and Yahweh's relationship. Because like you said, he got instructions every step of the way. He knew what the purpose was. His purpose, Yahweh told him basically, I know what you thought you were here for, but you're here because you are to bring my children out and deliver them into the promised land. And this is how this is going to go. This is how I'm going to do it through you. So
Mhm.
now he has a new purpose. And sometimes it's difficult for us because either we don't know the purpose or we know the purpose, but we have no idea what that looks like and how it's going to play out because life, life's. And he, oh, Moshe is Moses. I'm sorry. Moshe is Moses. Um, and sometimes, well, a lot of times, like you said, this wasn't playing out the way he expected it to. And what do we do, Prophet Leslie, when our life isn't looking the way we expected it to look? You
Right.
know, I'm up in age now. I'm not like in my 30s or my 40s where I might still have time to get some things together. We're like, at this age saying, Yahweh, what's my purpose?
Yeah.
Not that even sounds right. You know, what do we do? How do we reconcile?
Yeah. Um, I was thinking, and the first thing that when you think about Moses, uh, Moshe is his Hebrew name. I think about how he had to make a choice
Mm-hmm,
from being Egyptian, living an Egyptian life,
mm-hmm,
to becoming a Hebrew. It says in the word that he chose to be with his people. Whew, that just sent chills in my body right there. So he chose to be or to come out of what you was talking about, that royal place,
mm-hmm,
to be amongst a people that he only knew of that had a God,
mm-hmm.
had an Elohim.
And there, it didn't even look good for
Right,
them who
right,
who had a Elohim, who had a God. Man, y'all down here suffering. That don't look
right,
good.
right,
That don't look good.
right,
Y'all crying out, where he at? Y'all crying out, y'all down here suffering. But the thing is, they were suffering. Yahweh had told Abraham that this is going to happen, because of their disobedience. So
right.
it was their disobedience that brought them there. But the representation didn't look good.
Didn't look good.
It just didn't look good,
And just think about it. He gave up all, like you said, the material things. See, the Israelites had the kingdom. Egypt had the material things. They
Mhm,
had their own gods. They had the big um, statues. They had the beautiful building. They had the money, but the inside was empty.
mhm.
When Moses made that shift, I'm sure he wasn't sure what was going to take place, but it was something. Even I and I always believe that somehow, well, in his younger age, him and his sister still connected, because for her to come in and out and say, "You want me to get a Hebrew um, slave to come and nourish him when he was a baby," and they said, "Yeah, go get one." She had to be in and out serving them. This is me thinking. So I was always thought that somehow she she had a connection with him while he was there. Might not have been much because now he's grooming to be a prince and might be in a whole different area, but during those years, something was sown into him to make him I like the word ponder about these Israelites. So by time he gets to the place, he's just tired of seeing them being abused. That's what happened. That's why the Egyptian got killed. There had to be a shift within him taking place that he didn't maybe not understand, or there was something more to make him respond the way he responded. Um, like you said, he grew up seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
He knew what that was like.
Mm-hmm.
And for him to shift like that, there was something on the inward part
Yeah.
that was taking place.
Yeah, it was the timing of Yahweh, because he has a timing and he has a plan. So none of this was a surprise to Yahweh what was going to happen on this day at this time at these many minutes of the day.
Not at all.
Yeah, Moshe is going to handle this Egyptian, and he's going to kill him. And this is what's going to happen, and this is going to play out. Moshe had no idea, but it is all the timing of Yahweh. And that is why we have to get up every day on purpose. We have to get up each day purposely to walk out our lives, because we do have a purpose. And at any moment, the timing of Yahweh can kick in for us, just like it kicked in for Moshe in that instance. Once that Egyptian was killed, Moshe's life had changed. Now, did that happen for him overnight? Was it discovered overnight? No, but the moment that happened, like you said, it shifted. And now the plan of Yahweh, well, all of it was the plan, but now this new phase of the plan of Yahweh has now taken off, has
Yeah,
shifted into place.
yeah, because he had three phases.
Mm. And
Three
so
phases.
the same thing can happen with us. That's why we can't look and feel like, is life worth living? And that is a real thing, especially when what you expected and wanted to happen in your life is not happening. You can begin to wonder, like you say, every week we come on, is life worth living? Do I want to do this anymore? And I'm sure many of us, I have. Even when I was talking to my best friend last night, I told her I've had moments where this was not what I expected for myself. And I had gotten to the place where I was tired and I wanted to give up. And I didn't want to do it anymore. I loved Elohim, but I don't see what you promised. I love you, but this isn't looking like Deuteronomy 28.
Right.
I love you. I am doing the best that I can to walk this out and live this life according to the instructions that you've given me. And I don't see anything changing. But like you said, that's not a place you should stay, and you should instantly have a bounce back. Because even though I was explaining that to her, that those have been moments in my life, as quick as I said that, the next thing out of my mouth was, but I'm grateful because I love Yahweh. I might not have this and it might not look the way I expected it to look, but I'm grateful. I have a roof over my head.
Right.
When I did not have a car, I didn't have a car for over a year. You know, I still was able to get up every day. He provided the money, and my job, I still was all I was concerned with when I lost my car was being able to get to work. I
Mm.
still have to be able to get to work and teach. still got to be able to get to work and teach. The salon is in walking distance, honestly, that I work at. It's not that far. I literally could walk to work and get to home if I wanted to. But that school is in another city, and all I wanted to do was be able to get to work, right? And he still made a way for me to get to work every day. I had to commute, I had to catch a bus, I had to catch a train, I had to catch another bus. But I was able to get to work every day. And while I was explaining the things that did not look the way I wanted them to look, immediately after that was, but I'm grateful because I'm still here. I'm grateful that my children and I have a roof over our heads. I'm grateful that he still provides for me. He still keeps me. He still loves me. And I'm grateful that I still have life and I still have an ability to live out and walk in that purpose, whatever that purpose is. So if you are looking at what has not happened yet, that's okay. Because at any time, the purpose and the plan of Yahweh for your purpose and your destiny can shift at any moment. And if we give up,
We'll miss it.
we will miss it. If we complain, if we murmur, if we don't appreciate where he's brought us from, we will miss it. Or you will prolong it because we have so many examples. When we look at the people that we're talking about, the children
Yeah.
of Israel, they're complaining, they're murmuring,
Their whole time.
caused them to prolong the promise, to deliver them into their purpose and their destiny, which was the promised land. So much so that Yahweh had to get rid of the mindset of that people and cause them to die out so that their seed, their offspring,
Can inherit.
could inherit what he promised them.
That's right.
And if we are not careful, if we are not patient, if we are not trusting in the plan of Yahweh, and we look at this from our perspective and not the perspective of his word, because his word, that's why we have to stay in it, because his word encourages you, his word strengthens you, his word changes your mindset. His word renews your mind. That's why we have to read it, because we need our mind renewed daily. Because if we don't, we will be carried away by what we see around us. Because that's the enemy of your soul's job, to take your eyes off of the promise. And you can only see and understand that promise when you keep your eyes in his word. And so it is imperative that we stay in his word, because that word is what gives you, we talk about, I want to have joy. That's just re-strengthening. That's what joy means, re-strengthening. And you only get that when I keep my eyes on his promises. And where are those promises? In his word. When life is lifing and it's trying to discourage you, and it's trying to get you down, that's when you pick up those promises and you begin to read them. If I do this, Yahweh, then you will do this. If I'm doing my best to be obedient to what he's told me to do, and I'm walking that out, then that is what I have to look forward to. And then I get his word and I read his word out loud to him. You said it's a if then concept. Concept.
Conditions.
If I
Conditions.
do this, then you promise to do this. So I trust you at your word. So when life is lifing and the enemy comes to tell me there's no purpose for your life, look, it hasn't happened yet. Am I any different than Yeshua, who he came to tempt and try and tell him who he was? And if you do this, I'll give you this. You don't have nothing to give me, sir. Are we any different or any better than Yeshua? Of course, he's going to come. When you belong to Yahweh, of course, he's going to come and try that word that's in you. Of course, he's going to come and try to make you doubt what Yahweh has told you. And you do exactly what Yeshua did. He didn't talk to him out of himself, he gave the enemy of his soul back the word. You don't talk to the enemy of your soul by yourself. Well, that was Eve's problem. She tried to talk to him from what she thought she heard. No, you talk to Yah. You talk to the enemy of your soul from what you know. And to make sure you get it correct, you open up that word and you read it out loud so that you can hear it and you make sure the enemy can hear it. And as you're reading it, I can promise you, suddenly you get your strength. Suddenly you get determination.
It forms itself.
It forms. It shifts. We talk about shifts all the time. Something in you shifts and you get a second breath. I just got a second wind. We see that sometimes with runners, and then suddenly when it comes getting close to them getting to that
Out
finish
of
line,
nowhere.
you don't know where it come from, but they just get a second wind. When you're reading that word, when you're trodden and beaten down by the word, by the world and the enemy of your soul, and you open up that word and you begin to read, suddenly you get a second wind and you like, God dog it, I think I can do this now. That's what that word is for. So when life is lifing and you're not sure of what your purpose is, you just know you have one, because we all have one. I sit here flat footed today to tell you, you do have a purpose. There is a plan for your life. You might not know what it is, but just keep living. Just keep getting up every day on purpose. Just get up intentionally. Tell Yahweh, I don't know what this day is going to bring, but I'm living it on purpose because I have a purpose. And you remember that word over your life. I love the prayer, and I'm going to be quiet. I love the prayer that Yeshua gave us in Matthew 6. You can't go wrong with that prayer.
What, the one I tried to say last week and couldn't get it right?
You cannot see. That's the past. We need to remember that. See that, y'all? We need to remember. But we do that. We do that. Today is a brand new day. And that prayer is the perfect prayer to give us the determination and the motivation that we need. Our Father, who art in heaven, holy is your name. Your kingdom come. Your will be done in earth. Did you know that's you? You are dirt. You are earth, shaped and formed. and he naffalled into you. He blew his breath into you, and you are a living creature. So your will, Father, be done in earth as you've designed it for me in heaven. Give me this day my daily bread, my daily need, whatever I need this day as I walk it out. Give me this day what I need. And Father, forgive me of my trespass each time I forgive someone that trespassed against me. Or forgive me of a debt each time I forgive one of my debtors. That's the part we got wrong. Forgive me of my debts as I forgive my debtors. I've forgiven my
Not one
debtors,
side.
Yahweh. So for forgive me, no, it's each occurrence of an offense. It's each lie. It's each thing that has been said. It's each thing that gets rid of us, that gets next to us. When I'm able to forgive that, then he looks at something that I did and he's able to forgive me. Give me this day what I need. Forgive my debts as I forgive my debtors. Lead me not into temptation, but understanding Yahweh isn't the one that tempts us. But don't allow me, if I'm going to temptation, deliver me from everything that is evil. Because Yahweh, the kingdom is yours. Yahweh, all power is yours. And all the glory, which is a place in heaven, it belongs to you forever. Then we say, I agree with these words. Amen. That's the perfect prayer to start off our day, every day. It's an open communication with Yahweh that will help you. When you tell him, give me this day what I need today, that is helping
Already
you
done.
to intentionally walk out this day on purpose. It sounds simple, but it's something that we have to mindfully, intentionally do, especially those days that you don't feel like getting out the bed. Our lives flash before us, and yeah, I'm this number of years old, and this hasn't happened yet. Then we open up that stupid social media. That's what it is. It's stupid. Although we're on it today and we're grateful. It can be very stupid at times because it throws these lives and these lifestyles in front of our face to make
Yes.
us look at ours and think ours is worthless. You are where you're supposed to be at the time you're supposed to be, especially if Yahweh is the head of your life. So live it intentionally and on purpose for your destiny and your purpose.
Mhm. Well, we're at the top of the hour.
Oh, I talked away all the way through that.
That's all right. Gave out some good information. One of the things we want people to understand, and you said it so perfectly, is that the reason why that track star gets wind again is because they train properly.
That's so good.
Whew.
That's so good.
We don't get a second wind because we don't train properly. We don't embrace the word. We don't embrace Yahweh, the creator of who we are. And because we don't, we feel like the world. We think carnally like the world. We think that we don't have a hope because that's what, like you said, society, the social media shows us. But the word that gives life and it gives it more abundantly is where we shortcome. It's like a electricity that has a short in it, and you got to shake it sometimes. No, you shouldn't, because you don't know whether you're going to start a fire or not. But you have a short when you're not connected, and in that connection, you have to have an A and a B, a black and a red to connect to get energy.
Positive and a negative.
Positive and a negative to get that energy. We're the negative, and the word is the positive.
Come on.
And if we never put the surge together, we never come past where we are. The word can't shape us. The word can't do what it needs to do in us because we have not connected. We want you to be encouraged today. I think about he will keep you in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on them. And when we begin to think about the perfect peace, we begin to think about the shalom. But before we get there, and you was talking about heaven and all. Only thing that came to my mind was the song from um, "If We Live Right, Heaven Belongs to Us." If we live right, heaven belongs to me. That doesn't mean that you always do it right. But what it means is that you stay in connection with the one that leads you right. Moses, Moshe, stayed connected to the one that led him correctly. When we get out of formation and we try to do it ourselves, the Israelites, they didn't come into formation, so they stayed in the wilderness 40 years. But when we allow heaven to surge us, to connect us, to revive us, restore us, restoration, then we can learn how to live this thing called life out. 13 attributes. Heaven is waiting on us. We do the first part. Come into my life, save me, deliver me, set me free. I'm yours, Lord. Everything I am, the songwriter said, everything I got, I'm yours. And then we continue to live life the way we think life is supposed to be living. And what do people say? Life is life. But when you're in the kingdom, your life is going to always add up with the life of Yahweh, the one he created for you. You talked about waiting process, and sometimes we get stagnated because we're looking at it, and I'm going to end here, looking at it from our own viewpoint. Hey, Adrian, instead of the viewpoint of the word. Everything we need is in the Word. When we feel down, it's in the Word. When we feel like we're against the wall and don't know what to do, it's in the Word. Everything we need is in the Word. You know what the most powerful thing is? It's in there so we don't end up like those Israelites. I've always been like this. This is just the way I do things. I've been like this and I'm going to die like this. Well, the Israelites died like that, being the way they were. We don't want you to end up like that. And don't be afraid of change. Yes, we had a great example, many examples of being afraid to do the purpose, but when they followed the plan made them better. I talked about Jonah yesterday, not really talking about, I used to talk about his name, but Jonah, it's a great example of somebody that was told to do something that is different than Moses was told to do something. He went the other way. Not me. I ain't doing that. And the turmoil he went through because of making his own choices. A lot of times we're in turmoil because we refuse to do the plan of the Father. And guess what? What did he tell us?
So
Go
good.
ahead. Go ahead. You got something you want to say?
Just that because he didn't do it Yahweh's way, it not only, it didn't just affect him, it affected those around him. That's all I wanted to say. That part right there.
People don't realize that. Everything that's connected to you will go through the process of being in a place that they are stagnated because you are stagnated. They're going through the hell because you decided you wanted to do something different than what Yahweh told you to do.
And everyone around you
They're going to
will
throw
be,
you off the boat.
listen, they will be affected because you have not said yes.
So, what does that
Because
mean? Your
you,
children,
your children,
your husband, your wife,
your husband, your wife, the people at work, who, wherever you are, wherever you're connected, if you're in groups, everybody will be affected because you have not said yes and you are disobeying and you're trying to run from your purpose. Everybody else being affected by it. That's a lot to hold over your head. Even he said, y'all, you know what? This storm, this it's because of me. It Yeah. Just throw me over.
and
Just,
they came to look for him.
and he still wasn't trying to do it.
What's
Listen,
up with this? Who are you? Where you come from? What's going on?
and he like, yeah, yeah, it's my fault.
And
What?
then
Talk
to
to your God. It's like, y'all might as well just
right.
throw me over. And he still, and it wasn't even like he still wanted to do it.
He's like,
Not
let
He
me die.
still didn't want to do it. It wasn't until he was in the belly of that fish for 3 days that he came out.
Came to himself
But he still felt
for a
like,
moment.
listen, okay, I'm gonna do it. But I give you my opinion about this? I'm gonna do it. But let me give you my opinion about this. I don't think they deserve none of this. You
And had the
still
nerve to
finna do
get
all this?
mad.
I don't feel like they deserve any of this.
And got mad.
And got mad. He didn't even
After
learn nothing being in that fish for 3 days. I'm gonna need y'all to learn the lesson. I
all
need
this
y'all to
time.
say yes. Just say yes.
Just say
So
yes.
everybody else around you will be good. Just
Yes.
say yes and learn the lesson.
Yes.
Don't be like Jonah in the fish for 3 days and then still come out saying I'll do it, but still want to do it your way.
And then do it and get mad still. I was over there in my country. I was good. I had to come over here, and then you gonna forgive them?
That was the whole purpose, Jonah, for you to get there and tell them to repent because I love them and they get a chance too. But they don't deserve no chance. I'm going to tell them, but don't be like Jonah.
Yeah.
Just say yes. Just say yes.
And remember this one thing: your purpose is in you. Stop looking on the outside. It's in you. Everything you need to be is already provided. He says, I know what I got for you, and I know what I'm doing with you. Where you going? What you doing? Come on. Let's get this let's get this party started. No, let me stop.
Ashley, get your mama.
They both on here today. They're gonna be like, Mom. But yes, we just want you to be sincere about your walk. That's the most important thing. The purpose cannot not be or come because it's a part of you. And as you line up with the word, and as you begin to allow the word to shape you, you'll begin to see things unfold that you've been waiting for to unfold. Yes, it's easy to look at this one, as Minister Wanda said, and say, well, why they got it going on? Why is it happening for them and not for me? There's always a process that we have to go through. Sometimes our process is different than someone else's. And because it's different than someone else, we have to be patient. Let patience have its perfect. So I want to read the attributes.
Your daughter said that's typical.
I love y'all too. London. Hey, London. I gotta put my glasses back on. Mm-mm-mm. This was good. This was good. Thank you for the teaching, teacher.
You know what? Y'all, it's so funny. Because I told her I'm not saying nothing.
Nothing.
I'm not feeling well. I'm here. I'm not saying nothing. I'm going to let you talk. That's what I said.
She even prayed, Yahweh, give her what to say.
I'm sorry, my hand hit the computer. That's hilarious. I did. I prayed a whole real prayer. He was like, mm-hmm.
And you thought I was going to stop you? No. No.
I was waiting for you too.
Uh, it's like back in the day we had they still have it, the computer, and it reads off numbers and things like that. It's almost like what you call it, they used to do um the to get a message to
Was it like the ticker tape or something?
that the ticker tape. um I can't think of it, but the ticker tape you're reading, and that's what it was. We're listening to it come out of you as it's flowing. We're listening. We were listening, so there was no reason to stop what you were saying. You know, uh, when they were back in the day, and they had to get a message back to America or to their forces or whatever, and they would type the not in no mind.
Morse
Anyway,
code. Morse code.
Morris code.
That's
You was getting the Morris code, and
Amen.
you was reading it to us.
Amen.
So we appreciate what you have done. He answered your prayer, Minister One.
He did, Ashley. And not the way I expected him to answer. So even as we're talking and telling you guys that it might not look the way you expect it to look, but there is a purpose in the plan. He just manifested that today.
He
This was
manifested.
not supposed to happen. Leslie was supposed to do all the talking. And I was supposed to go, uh-huh, amen. She gonna read the 13 attributes now.
You had your you did say amen. You got a chance to say it. So we have hump. I can't even see it. harmony, wholeness, health, soundness of mind, completeness, fullness, rest for your soul. You talked about that soulish area. And a lot of us, oh, I'm not going to go into the soulish area because that's where a lot of us is missing it. Our souls is not lining up.
Your mind, your will, and your emotions.
Uh, Wealth, safety, tranquility, prosperity, perfectionist, and wellness of your being.
All of that.
Everything we need is within the shalom, which is Elohim, comes from Elohim, within Elohim. So our being has to line up with his being. So thank you today for being here. If you have not hit that like sign, if you have not subscribed and you have not shared, please do so. Pray that you will continue your day with your mind stayed on him. He is your regulator. He is your provider, and um, he is the one that has everything you need for today, not outside of him, but within him. Thy kingdom come. Be blessed. Have an amazing day. And know without a shadow of a doubt, you are loved. We love you, but we can never love you the way Yahweh loves you. So please give him the opportunity to love you. There's so much deliverance, so much freedom, so much love. Why? Because he did everything through the love process. Why are you here today? Because he loves you. Why did he allow you to come today? Because he loves you. And that same love he uses to bring us out of those low and dark places and to keep us in the safety of his arms. So know that he loves you. Love him back. Shalom.
Shalom.
God bless you till we meet again.